Love 3, good.
Do you think Terence Crawford is approaching you in the proper way?
I think he's wanted the fight and doing respectful, you know. I want Canelo.
2, 3, 4. Eso. Enjoy.
Canelo Alvarez has reacted to the news of Floyd Mayweather training with Terence Crawford. After footage of their sessions surfaced, Canelo remained focused in the gym, putting in serious work. When asked about it, he kept his response short and confident, simply saying enjoy, making it clear that he's unfazed and locked in on his own preparation.
Eso. Eso. Venga. 5, venga. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eso. Enjoy.
Shakur Stevenson recently opened up about his experience meeting Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford. He expressed deep admiration for Mayweather, revealing that Floyd appreciates being around genuine people, which has brought them closer. Shakur emphasized their growing bond, saying, "We're so close now," highlighting the mutual respect they share in the boxing world.
Seeing Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford all in the one place, and I know you put that together. You've played the game, and you put yourself in a position there to sort of create a moment. And there was a few viral moments from that in the clips outside. What's that sort of environment like for you? I get the feeling every time I speak to you, you're so locked in. Do you not feel anything when you're around everybody in the gym and you've got to do them spars?
It kind of just feel, back in the day, like if you asked me this question, I probably would tell you like, oh, it was so amazing. But now I'm kind of so used to like,
regular.
Yes, it feels so normal. Like, honestly, that's why me and like Floyd is so like close now, because it's like, I'm a genuine person and he don't like, he like genuine people around.
Canelo Alvarez, widely seen as the face of boxing, responded to Terence Crawford's respectful approach in calling for a fight. He acknowledged Crawford's interest and noted that, unlike others, Crawford hasn't resorted to trash talk or negativity. Canelo made it clear that he's earned his place in the sport, saying, "You never know. Maybe one day I wake up and want to fight that guy." While respecting Crawford's accomplishments, Canelo remains measured, showing appreciation for all fighters and the integrity of the sport while leaving the door open for a possible showdown in the future.
He went on the rant with Teddy Atlas.
What's that mean?
He said you're the most overrated Mexican champion in history. He said that Salvador Sanchez.
Boxeador mexicano.
Más popular,
pero sin causa.
Fucking crazy, that guy. and you think he knows boxing? Fuck.
When Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Kobe. Then he moved up again and he lost to Bivol. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was against an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume, right? But there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, all-time light heavyweight. It's a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up. Okay, and Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Crawford.
In the past, Canelo Alvarez made it clear that he wouldn't drop weight to fight Terence Crawford, pointing out that Crawford was the one pushing for the fight, not him. He explained that if he took the fight, critics would say he was facing someone too small. Canelo also noted that Crawford's fighting style was different, making the matchup less appealing to him.
He needs to understand he's a different fighter now. The deterioration is there. He's not the same guy. He's not that destroyer who's looking for knockouts early and keeps a pace and a pressure on you. He throws 30 punches around. You're not the same guy. So telling everyone you're going to knock them out and then going into, 6 decisions in a row now? Scores a knockdown every time. Power's still there. The problem is the pace and the ability to carry on and push. That's the real difference, and that comes with age. He's 34 going on 45 at this, as far as I'm concerned. He's got a ton of fights, been around for a long time, doesn't have that same desire, the same drive to take the chances against these younger, bigger guys, because he is fighting younger, bigger guys. So you got to keep that in mind as well.
When he fought Canelo and he was like standing right in front of Canelo and Canelo was just whiffing, it was a life lesson. And then you look at how good Canelo's head movement got after that fight when he realized it. I mean, my God, when he fought Danny Jacobs, and Canelo's just standing right in front of him, bobbing. That's all what he learned from fighting Floyd.
Promoter Eddie Hearn has shared similar concerns about the size difference between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. He pointed out that if the fight happened, Canelo wouldn't get much credit for winning due to Crawford's smaller stature. Hearn emphasized this by saying, Canelo will not get any credit for beating a lightweight, reinforcing the idea that Crawford may be seen as too small for the matchup.
It's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo. But what's his options? I mean, like, you know, if Bivol wins, he could fight him for undisputed. That's a very tough fight. What's the other options? You know, Benavidez is up at 175. Obviously, His Excellency wants to make that fight, so guess we could see it next.
Shakur Stevenson has shown strong confidence in Terence Crawford's abilities after spending time with both Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. He believes many people are underestimating Crawford, arguing that skill matters more than size in a fight. Stevenson stated, I think he can beat Canelo because weight doesn't matter. Skills pay off, making it clear that he sees Crawford as a serious threat despite the size difference.
I'm like this nice cause of Bud. Like, me truthfully, like, I done got better through the years. Like, not even just being in the ring with him, but even being outside the ring. Watching his demeanor, watching what he doing in his sparring, watching his training camp, how hard he trained. Like, dog, I owe Bud a lot, so I'll never even talk about too much sparring.
Yeah, I got you. Shakur, everybody just keeps saying, bro, he lighting the ass, the weight. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
what do you say about that?
I think skills pay the bills. Yeah. And I feel like, truthfully, he's not as little as people think. Like, people think he like very small.
He cut weight to get to 147, 154.
Yes. Yeah. He's not as small as like people think. It's just he look like it. Yeah. So like if you see him in person and he get on a scale or something, you wouldn't believe that's his weight.
I told somebody the other day, he might get on the scale weighing like 166, 167 fighting Canelo. And people wouldn't believe how ripped up and cut up he'll still look. He won't look like he's overweight Terence Crawford. He gonna look like a solid Terence Crawford.
I think he beat Canelo though. I've been saying, I remember when he fought when they fought. Go watch an interview after the fight. I literally said, I think Terence Crawford will beat Canelo.
Okay, I wouldn't say that.
Canelo Alvarez has always stressed the importance of weight classes in boxing, believing that every fighter performs best at their natural weight. In an interview, he stated, there are weight classes for a reason, implying that Terence Crawford's ideal division is 147 pounds. This highlights Canelo's stance that moving up in weight can affect a fighter's performance. He also downplayed Crawford calling him out, saying it wasn't a big deal since everyone wants to fight him. Meanwhile, boxing legend Floyd Mayweather weighed in on the topic, reflecting on his own experience against Canelo. Mayweather pointed out that when they fought, Canelo was in his prime while he himself was already older.
You know, Canelo said that because when Canelo fought me, he was in his prime. And when I fought, I was an old man. So I wasn't in my prime when I fought Canelo. You know, I was an old man when I fought Canelo. Just like this right here, young guy. Even though I'm old, I got a lot of experience. I'm gonna go out there and just show him that this is the elite level and it's something totally different.
Mayweather didn't hold back when discussing Canelo, saying, I was like 40 years old when I cooked this dude, suggesting that Canelo may not be as dominant as some believe. Given Mayweather's undefeated record and vast experience, his comments add an interesting perspective to the debate. Meanwhile, Canelo has downplayed Crawford's call-out, reiterating that many fighters want a shot at him, so it's nothing new. He made it clear that he's only interested in fights that make sense for his career and legacy. Canelo also admitted that while he'd take the fight if the money was right, he isn't particularly interested in facing Crawford because of his movement, saying, he moves a lot, and the fight is boring. This highlights his belief that Crawford's style doesn't align with the type of matchups he prefers.
I think Crawford don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in. Because, you know, I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great. I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So yeah, if the money is right, I mean, why not?
How you think he did at that weight, at 154? How you think Crawford did?
You know, they are a weight class for a reason, and you need to ask him. It's different. I know in his mind he think he can do whatever he wants because he's very talented fighter. He's a very good fighter. I like how he fight, but that's why there are weight classes.
Yeah.
Canelo Alvarez has voiced doubts about Terence Crawford's resume, suggesting that Crawford has only beaten one truly notable opponent. He implied that Crawford's record lacks depth when it comes to facing high-caliber fighters. This critique shows Canelo's skepticism about Crawford's readiness for a showdown in the ring.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with Spence. He did like almost look very easy but I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you know, you never know in boxing. We'll see.
In response to Canelo's comments, Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre, stood up for his fighter's record. He argued that Crawford's dominance in the ring makes his opponents seem ordinary, which only highlights his exceptional talent. Crawford makes everybody look normal, McIntyre said, emphasizing that it's Crawford's skills that make every fighter look average. This defense underscores the belief in Crawford's superior abilities and adaptability in the ring.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford. There's nobody that you got to show me that you can beat.
Showbiz the Adult broke down the potential fight, praising Terence Crawford as an all-time great. He argued that the weight class difference wouldn't have a major impact on Crawford's ability to dominate in the ring. According to Showbiz, Crawford's skills are so exceptional that size won't be a decisive factor in the fight.
Just a few weeks ago, you heard what Terence Bud Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, you know, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. You know, he's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just, you know, just like to, you know, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'll be the biggest fight, which, you know, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him testing himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons the war room can get.
Mikey Garcia shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, pointing out the challenges posed by the weight and size difference. He noted that Canelo fights at 168 pounds, while Crawford has recently moved up to 154, facing some difficulties there. Garcia stated that Canelo isn't likely to come down below 166 pounds. While he acknowledged Crawford's superior skill set, Garcia predicted that Canelo's size and power would give him the edge in the fight. He highlighted the contrast between Crawford's technical abilities and Canelo's physical advantages, suggesting that Canelo's strength and size would likely dominate.
has to be made. How do you see that playing out?
I'm not a big fan of that fight matchmaking because they're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. I told him yesterday when I met him up last night there at the dinner, I'm like, dude, you're a badass. Like, you've been a badass. You don't always get the recognition because of the, politics in boxing and the favoritism here and there. But he truly does have the skills, and he's a great fighter. He's proven it multiple times, obviously. Now, Canelo is, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66?
Yeah.
Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, maybe 166 max if he accepts.
Yeah.
I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor.
Social media influencer and boxer Jake Paul has also shared his thoughts on the potential fight, finding the matchup intriguing because of the weight class difference. He pointed out that fans have never seen Crawford compete at such a high weight before. Paul's comments reflect the wider public's curiosity about how Crawford would perform in a higher weight class against a formidable opponent like Canelo.
It's interesting because of the weight class. We haven't seen Terence go up there, and will he have the power? But I do think that Terence has the skill and is a bit fresher than Canelo. So if I had to put my money on it, I would probably go with Terence.
I think Canelo destroys him.
Really?
I do.
Wow. I mean, but most people think that, but they don't know.
I don't think that happens. I think Terence is just super talented at adjusting inside that ring. The weight will play a part. We'll see that when the fight happens, but I think that fight is going to be a lot more interesting than most people think.
Who was the hardest puncher you ever faced?
The much-anticipated showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford seems to be scheduled for September, according to ESPN's Mike Coppinger. Speculation surrounds why a major card is set for Friday, May 2nd, potentially avoiding competition with Canelo's preferred Cinco de Mayo weekend. This timing has generated excitement for both fighters. If the schedule holds, fans could see 2 Canelo fights this year, with Crawford potentially headlining the latter. This strategic timing also brings a sense of nostalgia for classic Friday night fights, adding an exciting twist to the modern boxing scene. A Canelo versus Crawford matchup would undoubtedly electrify boxing fans worldwide.
Past Saturday, but do you feel like a fight like Terence Crawford? I see he wants to fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, no? Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's a weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and then you never know what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a few weeks ago, you heard what Terence Bud Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'd be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him testing himself up against the very best. In
a recent interview, Brian BAC McIntyre expressed confidence in a potential Canelo versus Crawford fight, brushing aside concerns about weight differences. He stressed that true fighters focus on skills, not excuses, stating, "If you accept the fight, get in there and fight." For him, boxing is all about skill, not weight restrictions or unnecessary complaints.
3 times, if you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo, 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness. But I mean, he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that smoke.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's a weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah.
The potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford has become one of the most highly anticipated events in boxing. Fans are excited to see how the contrasting styles and weight classes of the 2 fighters will play out. Some enthusiasts are so confident in their predictions that they're placing substantial bets on the outcome. For example, boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult has reportedly wagered $30,000 on the fight, underscoring the high stakes and widespread interest surrounding this potential showdown.
Out the projected odds that came out. One of the odds projectors say Canelo is opening up as the favorite, -130. Crawford is +100. That's damn near 50-50. Another one says Canelo Alvarez is the favorite, -185. Crawford is the underdog, only +55. Let me tell you something. If those are the odds on my bookie come day one, I'm max betting Canelo Alvarez. I could give a damn. If y'all mean to tell me that y'all think it's 50-50, I'ma empty my account on Canelo Alvarez. I don't have to bet KO, none of that shit. If y'all think it's that close, I'ma empty my account. $30,000, I can give a shit. I'm about to come up. I was gonna bet on Crawford thinking he'd be the huge underdog. Y'all got it that narrow?
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates as we continue to cover all the latest in boxing. Until next time, keep supporting the sport, and I'll catch you in the next one.